Our dear viewers, wherever you're hailing from, I greet you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, and I thank you for everything that you're doing for the Lord. My name is Seminarian Rogers Valambe, a seminarian of Lugazi Diocese, currently appointed at St. Joseph's Nyenga Seminary. This is a blessing, since Nyenga is celebrating its centenary of fruitful existence, and I'm blessed to be part of this great celebration. Nyenga Seminary was founded by the Mill Hill Fathers in 1924 and was officially opened on the 19th of March 1924 by Bishop Biamas under the patronage of St. Joseph. Since then, Nyenga Seminary has been in existence and has trained many priests, many bishops, and many great men in this country who are of great influence in this country. In a view of looking and finding the history of Nyenga and those who have been part of Nyenga, the organizing committee has had particular interest in Reverend Father Charles Kayizzi, who we are with today, and we are going to get amazing information and stories about Nyenga in his term of service at Nyenga Seminary. With me is a team of publicity and magazine team who are going to first of all introduce themselves, and then from then we shall get to Father and we share how he found Nyenga and how this is going to help us have a great day come 16th March.
I'm Bakumpaji Jason, Senior 6, Nyenga Seminary from Nabingo Parish.
I am Kanabi Jesse Klaus Tomsange, Senior 6, Nyenga Seminary from Our Lady of Good Counsel, Kayizzi Parish.
My name is George Dionysius Kagombe, Senior 6 Arts. I'm from Lubaga Cathedral Parish.
Mwema is my name. I'm the chairperson of the Old Boys of Nyenga Seminary. I stay in a parish called Muya, Our Lady of Africa, and I'm glad to be here to represent the Old Boys, where also Father Kayizzi is also an old boy of Nyenga Seminary.
Reverend Father Ronald Chambade, a priest of Kampala Diocese. I did my pastoral work at Nyenga Seminary, and Nyenga Seminary was and is my first place of appointment. I'm a staff member there, the patron of the Writers Club, and in the preparations for the centennial celebrations, I'm the chairperson for the subcommittee of the centennial celebration souvenir magazine.
Father Kayizzi, tusanyusa okubeera wano naawe. Mu kaseera kano ke tuli mu kujaguza, tuli mu kwetegeka, twagala okulaba ekigenda mu maaso mu mbeera gy'olimu, naye n'ekirala ekireetedde ddala wano mu Kinda Mityana nga tukunoonya otuwe history. We want to rewrite the history of Nyenga. We want to know, to let people know how Nyenga has come to be what it is. Nyenga, it looks great. People have come out there praising Nyenga for whatever things that have been happening in their lives. You are part of the product of Nyenga. You taught in Nyenga. You educated bishops. You have actually been there to see Nyenga, and we are lucky that we're even talking to you today. As these people are here, they're seminarians, are writers, they want to rewrite the history so that we can have something for people to read about Nyenga. Father, tell us, what is your story?
Thank you very much. I am pleased to be with you. I started in Nyenga in 1947. After primary 4 in Nagarama Primary School. At that time, many people did not know English, but we taught English by direct method. The staff is made of Mill fathers, and our teacher was Father Nightingale. Father Nightingale is a great person, Mill father, and when we went there, people from different tribes, from Soroti, from Tororo, and from elsewhere. Nyeenga was the only seminary at that time on the side of the Mill fathers working in the part of Chagwe, Busoga, Tororo, and the eastern part of Uganda. Since that was so, people had to use English because others did not understand different languages of those people who came to Nyenga. Moreover, Nyenga Seminary was the only seminary for the Mill fathers down over there, from Tororo, from Soroti, and in part of Kenya. So, English was used, and those who joined Nyenga Seminary, since they were from different tribes, had to learn English, and the way they were introduced into the curriculum of the school was by translating for people when we went there. We were given one term to use our vernacular, and at that one term, people were given a chance to get it translated. Like, first of all, the dean, the one in charge of the seminary, or the head of the seminary, or the head, as we now call it now, head prefect, spoke in English, and then some people would be translated into various languages. But we're given one term only to use our vernacular. After one term, we would use English only. And in our communication, English was supposed to be used, and if you spoke any other language, not English, we were given a booklet.
Which book is this one?
The booklet was, that means there's something, a book, which was given to you to make you understand that you used your own language, not English. And that was given as a punishment.
What was in that book?
Well, just they would write your name, and it will be passed on. And then they said he spoke English, he spoke vernacular, and therefore you had to carry that book. So you carry the book until you give it to another one who spoke a different language.
So the book was containing names of people who were speaking vernacular. And so you carry it, carrying all their burdens.
Yes. Yeah.
So, what is your background in terms of education, Father?
In terms of education, I can tell you that in those days, we did not have any government examinations. We had our own kind of way of talking, way of studying, curriculum followed by the seminary. And the seminary was 7 years for the junior seminary, and the arrangement was this. The first year was preparatory, the second year was low figures.
Low figures.
Low figures.
Hey.
The third year was high figures. The fourth year was grammar. The fifth year was syntax. The sixth year was poetry. And the last year was rhetoric. There were no examination qualification, or there were no examinations from the government. So all this was like that, and you passed on. And when you passed, you were free from class to class. That was enough. Yes. But people follow the syllabus, and I would say that the public examinations started only in 1952. 52, something like that. Others, then we started with Cambridge. And we were at Cambridge, and the ones who were preparing us were the members of the staff. But before, people were educated without following the government examinations. So when you passed, then you were promoted to the major seminary. Yes.
Okay. Now, from Nyenga, where did you go?
From Nyenga, I went to Gaba, also by the Mihir fathers. They were all Mihir fathers were with the Gaba Seminary.
Yes.
And that Gaba Seminary was also staffed by Mihir fathers. It was all Mihir fathers.
So, when you finished, you were appointed back to Nyenga Seminary.
Yes, after my theology, philosophy and theology in Gaba Seminary, directly I was appointed to Nyenga Seminary.
How was that feeling? How was that feeling, going back to your...
Oh, it was lovely. And something which is interesting is this, that Archbishop Cyprian Luanga served my first mass, as we call it, first mass or celebration mass. Then after serving my mass, he joined Nyenga Seminary.
Wow.
and that was on the 10th of February.
So we could say that you inspired the Archbishop
Yes,
to come.
to come. And he always celebrated that day because he remembered the day I said my first Mass, and that was the day he joined Nyenga Seminary. And the last picture we took with him was at Nyeenga when we were celebrating 55 years of my priesthood on the 10th of February 2019. And that was the last day he was with us in Nyenga. And Nyenga Seminary welcomed us and celebrated that occasion.
Oh.
Interesting. That is worth commemorating.
Yes. After 50 years, 55 years, he celebrated his 55 years since he joined the seminary. And then I celebrated 55 years since I was made a priest.
You said you were ordained in which year?
In 1964.
Oh.
In 1964.
1964.
Now, when you joined the staff in Nyenga Seminary, how many black priests were you at that time?
There were 2 of us.
Oh.
I and Father Peter Yangwa.
Oh. Who was at first the king? Yes, it is that.
Peter Yangwa.
Served at first the king at some time.
Peter Yangwa.
Yes, Christ the King Kampala. That's what.
But he were 2 of us
Okay.
on the staff.
Okay. So tell us your experience. How was Nyenga at that time?
When I joined the seminary,
No, when you are now on the staff
on the staff,
as a formator.
as a formator,
Yes.
well, it was interesting because after being a student in the seminary, now looking back, it was very interesting. And I remember there was a time when people thought that the students or those who joined the seminary were to be taught by white seminary. But it was interesting that we were now on the staff, and it was very impressive for me.
So it was like what Bishop Heath wanted to kill, because there was what they used to call the Ethelto myth, which was believed that the Anglican missionaries which came before, the Anglican missionaries were the England were the Anglican missionaries, and the French missionaries were the Catholic missionaries. So there was that myth. So when you talked about the black and the Mill Hill missionaries, the Mill Hill priests and you, it was kind of that myth.
I'm imagining that when you got there, our very own seminarians who are the Africans who are more drawn to you than the whites.
Yes, and I think so, but we had a good time, a good relationship, because the Mill fathers were still going on, and that they were happy to see that what they had produced, or the seed they had planted, had gained truth, gained fruit.
At that time, how many students did you have in the whole seminary?
Oh, but it was about 120. 120. Yes.
120. Now they are close to
400.
400.
400.
400.
That's something.
So
That's
I
wonderful.
think what you started with 120 has grown.
Yes.
We should thank the Lord for that.
That's true for you.
So, Father, you just talked about your experience of being a student within Nyenga Seminary, having been able to witness young people become bishops, and even celebrating with them.
Yes.
How does it feel to educate someone and then you see them become someone different? I would like to hear that from you because you have seen many.
Yes, because this joy is felt when you see what you started with come up, and that what you have you put in your experience, that it has gained fruit. That was also very interesting.
So there are two things I would like to ask now around when you are in the formation. For instance, the late Archbishop was in your hands until the time they left Nyeenga. Now you became friends, and also you go back to celebrate your 55 years in priesthood in the same place. In the same place.
Yes.
I would like to know what drove you back to Nyeenga, and I feel that I should take you back again in March to actually celebrate the 100 years with us. But I just want to know what drew you back to celebrate the 55 years on that same day, and yet with your friend, the late Archbishop.
Well, by the way, this Archbishop wanted to celebrate my 50th anniversary in Nagarama, but on the day we're celebrating that day, and he was looking forward to celebrate the day, he was not able to attend. And the bishop, the doctor, told him not to do that because that would be bad for him. So he missed the opportunity of being in Nagarama. So he made it as a chance that when we're celebrating 55 years, to make it in Nyeenga. So he proposed to take me with a few of his friends to go back to Nyeenga and celebrate that occasion. And the director welcomed us, and we celebrated the very occasion. So it was a proposal of the Archbishop, and that was very nice. And by the way, that was the last day he celebrated this 55 years of ours.
So, as a formator in Nyenga Seminary, what subjects were you teaching? What subjects were you specialized in as a formator?
I was teaching Latin. That's my subject.
Latin.
Yes. And when I was appointed to the seminary, I stayed there for 8 years as a formator. And then after that, I was told to go to specialize in Latin drama. Then after that, I was able to qualify for Latin.
So you are the only Latin teacher at the moment?
No, only the others. The others. Because now I missed the chance because of coming back from Rome. I expected to be in Nyeenga, but then the cardinal told me to go to Kisubi instead of staying in
Yeah. So you moved from Nyenga, now you became a formator in Kisubi Seminary.
Yes.
Okay.
And there,
Mm.
I stayed there for 3 years. And after 3 years, I was appointed to the Catechetical Center here in Nyeenga. And then after that, I was given a chance to go to different parishes. That's the first time to go to the parishes.
Oh.
The first after the Catechetical Center for 3 years, I was then when we got the diocese, the new diocese in Nyeenga, I was appointed to Madudu, and after Madudu, I was appointed to Musulizi, and after Musulizi, I was appointed to Kiganda, and after Kiganda, I was again taken back to the seminary. The seminary. The seminary now.
But Father, before being transferred to Kisubi Seminary, when you still in Nyenga as a fomenter, what hardships did you find when you still in Nyenga as a fomenter by that time then?
And when as a fomenter,
As a fomenter in Nyenga, what hardships did you notice in Nyenga? You as a fomenter.
well, we had many problems. First of all, electricity was not there, and then the water supply was not there.
So how did you used to get the water?
The light,
Yes, they-
like improvisation for the
There are no preps.
But water problem, water was a problem. And I remember as a fomenter, still people had to,
They always go to fetch water from somewhere.
yes, we had to get fresh water from the well down, and then get some kind of water on the underground. But then the underground water, sometimes it got spoiled, and so it was not enough.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask, the building we have in Nyenga, the iconic building that we have, which we also think is over 100 years, I think. Were you present when they are building that?
Well,
The administration block?
at the administration, no, I was not at the administration. Well, the one which was the main administration block that was there, and some of the dormitories on the side were there, and those are the many home houses. But these, the classrooms, the first classroom down there, that was the. But otherwise, the main block was as a student.
Yes, as a student.
As a student. Yeah. So as a student, that main block was the main thing. And this the juniors, what we call it, juniors, used to stay on one side, on the other side, without going on the side. So the other side was called junior side, but then behind there was called the girl side. We were not allowed to go the other side because to keep to your side,
There's no mixing of levels.
Even classes were on that block.
When the class was on that block.
Even the dormitory.
Well, the dormitory, no, the dormitory, we about 1, 2, 3. We were about behind.
Oh,
Yes. But afterwards, only that.
So what would you do during the after school? You could do what? What was like the school timetable?
The school's timetable,
Yes.
we, at least the young ones, at least the first year, had a sort of light kind of treatment, and in the afternoon we used to have a sort of siesta for the young ones, the ones, senior one, or whatever, your preparatory. And then, since people do not want to so much to have together with the different tribes, after some time they said, go and play down on the football field instead of having a siesta. It was changed.
Allow me to take you back to the hardships. You were still talking about electricity, water, and somehow I was thinking you were going to also talk about how Nyeenga was in the times of the wars. The war.
Sorry to say that during the time of war, I was not there. That was because I went there in 1947.
Oh.
That was after the war. The one who was there during the war would have been Father Mugambi, the one who is in the hospital, is hospitalized.
Now Monsignor
Mugambi. But before that, you would understand what took place during the war. And after during our time, there was no water for the place, and we had a system of prefects. The prefect, there was a jerrycan to be held by what you call a master. The master was taken with 2 boys, and those 2 boys were to be helped by this the master, and then they would share the water so as to help that they get some water. But it was a very difficult way of keeping the water. Yes. And that water would be shared. Our others they would go to the well and they do something sometimes some for the kitchen and some for yourself.
So were children involved in some of the works around the seminary?
Yes, we used to do the slashing and so on. That was enough. But gardening, no, not so much.
So, Father, there is something I want you to share in particular. That is about the transition between the Mill Hill staff and now the black staff. So, you who was present at that time, I want you to share that history because it is very significant. And who was the first black rector and how the situation was after handing over from the Mill Hill staff
to the black staff?
Well, mostly promoted from here to staff, but mostly, usually, first of all, we had Kampala diocese and which was the Kampala diocese, and it changed into Kampala archdiocese. So that's the name. So when they changed it from Kampala diocese to Kampala archdiocese, before that, we got some white fathers together with the Mihi fathers. And when they divided the Kampala, what the Mihi fathers and the white fathers, that was something new. And even before that, we were the, as you said, the Africans, that were the first in here, all white. But then the first rector was Mukasa Paul. Paul Mukasa was the first rector.
Senior.
One was Paul Mukasa, who was chosen as a rector of Nyenga Seminary. But first of all, we went to Mihir first to visit, to see what was in Mihir. And then afterwards, as he was appointed, we went what was being done there. And when he came back, he told us he had been in Mihir, and this is what he saw. But then, after that, when Kampala was separated into Kampala Archdiocese, the first joined the Mihi fathers and the white fathers. That was the first transition. And we had a few white fathers and Mihi fathers that came afterwards.
Okay. Now, Father, you have had an experience in different seminaries as a formator. Would like to hear your experience as you move from one seminary to another seminary to teach, and who are some of those key students that you even recall? Some of my OBs and other OBs that you're recalling here, apart from the Archbishop, the late Archbishop. There are others that are significant. Say, I recall this person as my student. We would like to hear some of this, and even how you have kept in touch with some of them.
Well, those who are still existing, we have Monsignor Kanyike. Is he called Monsignor?
Yes.
And so that was the same. He was ahead of the Archbishop. He was in high figures, and this one was in low figures. Yes. So these were the key ones. Others who can remember is the Minister of Education. Nyeenga. And then we have Father Uganda, who is the parish priest of our house in Nyeenga. And others,
And Nyeenga has transformed over the years, now 100 years, and you have had an opportunity to go back and see the changes in the seminary. Sitting back here in Chinda Mitiana, in this home where you are, How do you see Nyenga in the next 100 years? Now you are giving the dream. What would you dream for Nyenga in the next 100 years, after now?
Well, I wish blessing for Nyenga after producing so many good people. Lay people and religious, all religious and lay people, which we still prosper, and I wish you success.
Today you are privileged to have at least 3 seminarians representing their colleagues that are already at school, and they are here to actually listen to you, but also to be inspired. What has kept you going as a priest?
Well, the discipline which we had in Nyenga was good. And that discipline in Nyenga has kept me going, so being successful. For example, in Nyenga, we had discipline, and Nyenga was known for keeping time. So keeping time is an asset for many people, because they said Africans don't keep time. But Nyenga was known for keeping time, and also English was known for Nyenga. So Nyenga was known for English.
And English.
Yes. And we had Bishop Billington as our bishop. He used to say, I want my students to be #1, but not #2. So if Nyenga kept on the discipline and being being privileged to keep discipline and keeping time, then we carry on to enlighten others.
Okay, I am imagining how your uniforms were. These ones are dressed in suits, you would say. But your uniform as a student, and then the uniform when you were, of the students when you were a formator, and now, can we just have, can you take us through the stages, at least you remember how the uniform of the students was and how it is now?
Yes, I remember when we started in the seminary, but there was no uniform. So, and then as formators, they used to say, here is the society of no uniform. So, that is went on with, but then afterwards, we happened to get something, I think what some kind of dress.
Is it a back cloth? Is it a khaki short?
Khaki short?
Yes.
Khaki short and a white shirt.
Father, to take you back, apart from teaching Latin and the seminary, which other responsibilities were you holding as a staff member?
I was teaching music. Music was my kind of second subject, and that helped me.
Do you compose any song and sing?
No, I did not compose. But I used to join concerts,
Yes.
and Nyeenga was known for doing concerts. We had a band, and from the collection I got from Germany, I got the band, guitar association, and that used to go on aggregate concerts, and you was invited to entertain others and be at a marriage party or wedding. So that's it.
So we still, Nyeenga is still known for the music, and the band is still there, it's growing strong year after year. So there are certain traditions that have actually been kept in Nyeenga, and there are certain things you have mentioned that I would like to reiterate. The element of English has always been mentioned. I remember even in our times that English was said we need to speak the best English in the country. They also mentioned things like we have to be in music. And I think wherever Nyeenga has gone has kept singing and being the best in the diocese and even at the national level.
And Latin also,
And Latin, eh?
Latin.
So Latin was another known aspect of Nyeenga. That one I need to ask further whether we are still known for Latin as the best seminary. Which other component do you recall from Nyeenga as a core for Nyeenga? Yes, we have good people that came out, there bishops, we have good ministers, people who have been set up, become pilots, whatever.
Football was known that at least as football was known that many teams appear, but that Nyeenga would be successful. And also that band, because we helped by one priest called Yes, and that helped us to hear the band, which was understood, and I was known for
playing.
Yes.
Okay. So any other aspect that you know were cores of Nyeenga that the young seminarians and the teaching staff right now should always maintain as a history and cores of Nyeenga? We have had the music. What else? Sports, we have heard about football. Is there anything else that you think was known for Nyeenga and continues to live?
Well, in our time we said we were not able to compete with other sciences, but if they get sciences, we appreciate that. But it was discipline, where discipline should be understood for Nyeenga.
So Father, I would also like to ask, as a new analysis, in those days in Nyeenga, in the 1990s and other seminaries, I'd like you to compare the formation then and the formation now, in the 90s and the 20s right now. Compare the formation.
Well, at least we should thank the transition and those who are now carrying on, because we have gained something, because we gained something by the new sciences coming in. So they should carry on like that. But as you know, many things need to improve, but should move with the time.
Time and discipline.
Discipline.
So Father, I would also like to ask, where do you see Nyeenga? Where do you see Nyeenga in the next years? as you see it currently, it's making 100 years. Now, where do you see it? Is it improving? Is it declining? I want you to give me a face out of the future Nyenga you see.
Well, Nyenga is improving, and we should wish it success, because of late we have seen that Nyenga has made it, was tried a lot of improvement, and that improvement is for the good of the seminary. Because if that improvement doesn't carry on, then the future will be bad for the seminary. So the country needs good people, and we wish the students to carry on and be with what is going on.
Father, these days, Africa is becoming the main source of missionaries to Europe. At that time, when you were actually a young seminarian in Nyenga and then becoming a formator, the missionaries were coming from Europe to Africa. Right now, we are seeing an influx of whereby more of the young priests are going to actually evangelize in Europe and in the Americas. What message do you have for the people that are actually being trained now? Because there is a different trend altogether. We had the wise coming, now we are the ones going to evangelize to the young.
Well, it is a challenge now for us to carry on with the world, but it should not be taken away by materialism, but at least be more spiritual than joining the material side.
That is a good advice, because in actual sense, as people move from Africa to go to evangelize, the opportunities are different on the other side.
Yes.
And they have to remain spiritual to be able to remain on the focus of what they're going to do. That's a good advice. I think it's a good point. But we see more of our black Africans, young priests now, being invited to go and evangelize, because the churches are almost empty and these people need to be educated. But what, on the other side, I would like to bring another conversation, because the demand for places in Nyenga has increased as compared to many years before. The young learners who want to come and study in the seminary are increasing. And there is that special advice that will come from you as a grandfather, and you tell them, when you come to the seminary, what should you expect? How should you actually leave the seminary and get out that you need? So that the message that they will hear today, they say, this came from someone that lived in this place and worked in the place and has seen it all.
Well, many seminarians join the seminary because they see perhaps priests, whatever, need cars and so on. So that should not take the lead, but they also should have the spirit to serve the people, and at least have a sense of spirituality and a sense of duty, whatever what happens, that you may be appointed somewhere and or to get something in the seminary, but you may not like to take it because it does not appeal to you. So you should at least bear the circumstances, however hard it may be. So the hardships are not usually taken for these days. So at least, if they have got some advantages, benefits in the seminary, they should also be prepared to take the hard side of the situation.
So that also allows the element of obedience. You have been appointed, you have to go, regardless of what is there, and bear the hardships as well.
That's right.
It is similar. You went to the seminary, there was no water, but you said, I will remain. I will remain in the seminary. Okay.
There is also nowadays a common saying that this generation, this spoiled generation, this indifferent generation, this insensitive generation. And when you look at that, we don't actually center on the generation, current generation. This current generation is a product of some other generation. And since you've actually lived for all these generations, you have a very clear view of how this generation, this spoiled generation, this indifferent generation came about. Give us a picture, Father, how you see this generation and how this is coming about, this indifferent generation, and how we can go about this generation such that we look at the generation which is coming. I don't know if this is a spoiled generation, which generation is coming next. So I don't know. Please give us a picture of how you see this generation and what brought about this generation and how we can go about this generation such that we get better fruits for the next generation.
The generation should be prepared because the world offers different possibilities, but it doesn't mean that whatever shines is a gold. So, in spite of the outcomes in life, we should be prepared to bear it up and at least be prepared to go on with life. So, life is difficult sometimes, but life is what you make of it. And if whatever happens, take it as it comes and be prepared to offer sacrifices. Sacrifice is expected of us, and at least whatever happens, we should be able to carry on with life.
That's a good one. That's a very good one because it's life. Life is for all of us, but we all of us come out differently depending on what we make of it. That's a good one. Another seminary, I had a question for you as we close.
So, after everything has been said, everything has been done, you said you spent 8 years in the seminary. What was your favorite, your best moment in the seminary that you can remember?
As a student.
As a student,
as a formator.
As a student, I enjoyed my teachers who always helped us to do whatever we were supposed to do. And those were helpful. That's why I would say that if the students carry on well or well with their formators, then life will go on well with them.
So as a teacher now, as a teacher, what did you enjoy?
As a teacher,
The fomenter.
it was the community life. Because as a fomenter, the community life is nice. So when you are a student, you are in a community, and as a fomenter, the community. So that community is good for life, because when you come now to the ministry, as I noticed, when I was once, as in the parish, I was appointed and I was alone in the parish. But then I looked back to the community I had as a student.
And you're missing that.
I'm missing that. And also, as a community in the staff, there's a good community. So when you are in the staff, if the staff is helping you, then you should be able to bear it. But then, after that, when you get a time when you get alone, you have to also to bear it. So, community life is good and should help us to build up the life in the community.
Father, I know we have had a lot of discussion with you and kept you here for a long time. Being a senior citizen and a senior spiritual leader in many aspects, we are going to be celebrating 100 years. And this video is going to go all over the world because people will make a reference to it. And they will say, we want to hear what people said 100 years ago, now moving forward to the next years. So we'd like to get that last message, which will be played on that day, so that people can know this is the message from Father Kayizzi after the 100 years, so that we close the video with that message that you want to give. And also, we want to invite you that you join us on that day when we are having that played on in March this year.
Well, I'm very grateful for what I'm very grateful for this occasion which was given to me. I thank the Almighty God for having given me the chance to be with the Hero Fathers who trained me, and then the life we had in Nyenga Seminary was a good opportunity. And all those who took part in this preparation, I thank them very much, and I hope that the occasion ends well, and the Lord will thank and He will bless Nyenga Seminary for the time to come. God bless.
Thank you. Father, you are still free to give us an official blessing.
An official blessing, and I beg maybe the choir the students can intone the anthem of the seminary, and then Father gives us a short prayer.
Let thy my protector be, while the sad moments come, while the saddest days come. Shield me, Lord, my friend, shelter, till the storm of life is dust. Safer to the altar, God.
Dream.